Next on Worcester News tonight, District City Council candidates head to Mechanics Hall for a debate. And a man in his 50s is in court today on robbery charges, why his lawyer says he did it. Good evening, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim McCone. We begin tonight with the last of a series of Worcester City Council debates held at Mechanics Hall. The debates have been sponsored by the Research Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce. Tonight's event featured district city councilors from the 3 contested race districts in 1, 2, and 4. The topics included affordable housing in the city, education spending, and public safety.
In the summit is the impact department that comes out and works in the neighborhoods and works the areas, and that's something that we need to take as a standard approach on a year-round basis.
We need to make sure that we have a coordinated approach between the Worcester Police Department and our district attorney's office and other law enforcement agencies to tackle head-on what has been taking place here in our city with the growing gangs and the drug culture.
I do see that a lot of our safety concern revolves around gangs getting younger, and I know that Worcester have done some, gang unit summer camp, but we can also find ways to collaborate with the Worcester Police Department and other organizations. More
involvement from the neighbors themselves getting to know their neighbors. They're becoming more vigilant. They're working with the police department. They're the eyes and ears. Unless we work together collectively, the Worcester Police Department can't do it all.
We need to get sources of funding. For example, when they break into their homes, where do they go to sell the goods? We need cooperation of pawn shops or secondhand stores.
And so right now, do I believe the city's safe? Yes. Do we have our challenges that any urban community has? Yes. But what have we been doing? We've actually taken and begun to address those challenges. Foot patrols, having community conversations, community engagement with police, youth violence prevention initiative that's taking a whole collaborative and working with community. Bring more than one.
Elections are on Tuesday, November 3rd. He hasn't started his new job yet, but Worcester's new interim superintendent says he's prepared. Our Patricia Nicholas sat down with Dr. Marco Rodriguez. She has the details on his plans for the Worcester Public Schools in the upcoming months.
Good morning, Superintendent's office. How may I help you?
Dr. Marco Rodriguez is familiar with the superintendent's office, and come December, it will be his.
One of my main priorities to make sure that the best practices that we have in place continue to be in place without any setback or any kind of disturbance with the changing leadership.
Dr. Marco Rodriguez has worked in the Worcester Public School District for more than 20 years. He currently serves as the Chief Academic Officer. He says his past experience has prepared him. Before I became the Chief Academic Officer, I was the Manager of Special Education, and that's my background. And I feel that for a superintendent, having a background in special education is a very important feature to have. It opens up a lot of the large scenarios that one has to look when one's running a district. In the last year, Worcester Public Schools has dealt with a lot of incidents involving violence in or around the schools. Dr. Rodriguez says keeping schools safe is his priority.
We make sure that our schools are safe at all times. There has, as any other district, there always be situations where student discipline becomes an issue, and we deal with that with all the resources that we have.
Dr. Rodriguez will start his new position in December and will stay on for the rest of the school year. He says he knows he will face new challenges, but he is ready to tackle them.
I feel very comfortable that not only the experience I have within the district, but also the team that we have in the Worcester Public Schools, that it's something that it feels that no challenge is ever surmounted too much because of the team that we have. We have a great group of professionals who really make the day go better.
Patricia Nicholas, Worcester News Tonight.
A North High ROTC teacher is now officially off the job after making comments about one of his former students who was shot and killed. Major Stephen L. Godin was suspended at the end of last year when students came forward about his comments about Sam Castro. Castro was fatally shot in Worcester back in May. When Godin was approached for a donation for Castro's funeral, he refused, saying Castro was a punk and a gangbanger. Godin was officially relieved of his duties on Wednesday. Police in Barre, along with other law enforcement officials, conducted 2 search warrants in town this morning, which resulted in 3 arrests. The first search led to the arrest of 20-year-old Eric Bodwell on a handful of charges, including possession of a Class B drug with intent to distribute and possession of a Class D drug with intent to distribute. 17-year-old juvenile female was also arrested at the apartment on similar charges. Within a minute after that a warrant was served, other officers served a second warrant at another apartment where they arrested 29-year-old Anthony Allen on 3 drug-related charges. Meanwhile, a bizarre arrest in Leicester earlier this month. An officer found a man slumped over the wheel of a running vehicle. After he awoke the man, he asked for his license, but instead the man gave him a cell phone. The officer then gave the man a preliminary breathalyzer, which resulted in a reading of .25. On top of that, the phone the man handed the officer, along with another one located in the vehicle, was actually determined to be stolen. He was arrested and charged with OUI, negligent operation of motor vehicle, and 2 counts of larceny under $250. A 57-year-old man is arraigned today in Worcester on robbery charges. His attorney says the victim was trying to sell his daughter drugs. Our Olivia Lemon was in court, and she has the details.
Hanks appears in Worcester District Court Monday. Prosecutors say the 57-year-old Worcester man tried to rob a 63-year-old man while wearing a ski mask. Prosecutors say Hanks told the victim he had a gun and threatened him outside of the Family Dollar store on Main Street.
Took his right hand out and put it under his sweatshirt onto his waistband and said, "Give me all your money or I'll put 4 slugs in you."
His lawyer says the victim has tried to sell Hanks's daughter cocaine. His lawyer says Hanks confronted the victim about it and then got into an argument.
Denies assaulting him in any way, didn't have a weapon. By the way, no weapon was found. My client didn't leave, he didn't take off.
Police say the victim went to Pennywise Market on May Street looking for help. Hanks was found nearby shortly after.
When he was searched after the arrest with the police officers, there was no weapon found on his person. But however, he did make the threat and tried to rob him with the intent of placing this individual in fear for having the firearm.
Prosecutors say Hanks has an 11-page criminal record and has already served jail time for armed robbery. He has an open case for larceny as well. A judge ordered him to remain behind bars at least until a hearing in January. Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
They're going to be running, jumping, and playing in style in Leicester from now on. A ribbon cutting for a new playground in front of the Leicester Primary School was held today. The project cost about $60,000 and was paid for completely through fundraising efforts over the last 4 years. Kids got to try out the new equipment, and there was also a ceremony recognizing some volunteers who helped throughout the process.
This was definitely a community process. The entire community got involved, which was nice. I think that's really a cool thing that the community would get together that nicely to put something together for everybody.
A bench at the new playground was also dedicated to Robin Vivieros, who worked with the kindergarten at Leicester Primary and recently passed away. Well, you can check off another goal for the Worcester Tree Initiative, the organization holding a special event today, completing their efforts to give away more than 50 trees in Maine South and Quinsigamond Village this year. The giveaways were all part of an effort to try and help beautify the area.
It was a tremendous success, and then a lot of people walked away with trees today that they can plant in their own yards, so a very, very great day for us.
It's about that time of year. High school seniors are beginning to think about where they want to go to college. The AVID program for Worcester Public Schools put together an event at Assumption College to provide options for high school students. More than 50 colleges set up booths and participated in the event. Students had the opportunity to hear about classes, events, and clubs each college has to offer. The purpose was to encourage kids to seek higher forms of education.
There's a lot of open houses coming up, so I'll be attending those to see how the actual campus is, because I don't want to just go somewhere with not really liking it, feeling like it's home.
As daily fantasy sports continue to gain popularity, they are also gaining scrutiny. Sites that allow sports fans to win money with a new player lineup each week are being examined by several states to determine whether or not it's gambling. Our Andy Madison has more details.
Daily fantasy sports sites FanDuel and DraftKings are everywhere. Mike Kynes joined one this year for football season.
When you create a team, you submit an entry and then it asks for a deposit. So I put $5-10 in.
Part of its popularity geared toward having several options to make money off of.
Changes week to week depending on the different matchups. but I plan on using it in the future.
But that future may be subject to heavy scrutiny. Last week, the Nevada Gaming Commission ruled the sites should be considered gambling and asked them to stop operating in the state. The ruling raises this question: is it gambling or is it considered a game of skill? A Holy Cross economics professor said Nevada made the right move based on the billions of dollars the sites have produced.
Once you start talking about that sort of money, it's going to be regulated as gambling.
The commission asked the sites to suspend operations in Nevada. Users outside the state, however, were still allowed to place wagers on the site, which many did this past weekend for football and baseball.
There is this aspect of internet gambling that going across state lines is an issue because, again, every state has different laws. Again, the other thing is that there are federal regulations that prohibit sports gambling.
I mean, I guess it is gambling, but I mean, I just don't think it's as addictive as like going to the casino or anything like that.
Andy Madison.